Welcome to the Dan Casper Show podcast, your chance to catch the full show anytime, anywhere. If you missed it live on the radio, no worries. We've got you covered with all the sports talk, opinions, interviews, and conversations from the show. From the Packers to the Brewers to the biggest stories in sports and around Wisconsin, it's all right here. This is the Dan Casper Show podcast. What's up, everybody? Good morning and a happy Friday to all of you. DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk Studios. Appreciate you making us a part of your start. If you are already up and at it on this Friday the 13th, whether you are listening to us on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, also available to stream up online at sportstalk1051.com. You've got your Google and Alexa home devices. You've got the app. Download it. Take it on the go. You've got the video stream on YouTube. Also up and rolling multiple different ways for you to be tuning in. Got that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line where you can hit us up with some texts and messages, 715-830-1912. What do we have on our game plan for us this morning? Well, Badgers survive in advance, right? It looked kind of beginning yesterday, kind of okay, maybe comfortable win, but then Washington making it close at the end. So Wisconsin survives and will take on Illinois today. So now we get into the meats and the bones of this Big Ten conference tournament, right? We get some really good matchups. We've got Ohio State taking on Michigan, and then it'll be Wisconsin, Illinois, Purdue versus Nebraska, and UCLA versus Michigan State. So first up will be Ohio State and Iowa. 25 minutes after that will be Wisconsin and Washington. Has it labeled around 1:30, but again, depending on how the first game goes. So you've got, and then where are we at here? Yeah, and then Purdue versus Nebraska, that's going to be at 5:30, and then UCLA versus Michigan State. So we'll talk some college hoops as we get set for Selection Sunday coming up this weekend, which you're probably going to be stuck indoors on Sunday, so you might as well watch some hoops and such and start to fill out some brackets when they get released on Sunday. Don't forget, you can head to sportstalk1051.com, click on that Fan Cave tab, and scroll all the way down to the bottom and get and sign up, pre-sign up right now. But if you want to wait till Sunday, well, that's the same location where you can go and do that. So plenty of hoops chats. Speaking of which, too, just a note on the high school level. We've got last night, or yesterday, I should say, the girls' state basketball tournament began. Kind of in our immediate area, Neilsville picking up a win. So they advance. Also, today, Oliva Strum's going to be tipping off here in just a couple hours, 9:05. So, and then Rice Lake tips off at 1:35. So best of luck to all the girls' teams that are still in it and advancing as well. So, but we'll do some more local sports roundup with Mr. Brandon Berg. Also, I should know Wisconsin Dells picked up a win last night against Kettle Moraine too. So just kind of on the outside of our listeners. But I guess, I mean, we're online and such, kind of a little worldwide, right? So, but the boys' side of things, we still have quite a few local teams alive, and they are just one win away from advancing. Those are teams that include Menominee, West Salem, St. Croix Central, GET, Clear Lake, Eau Claire Regis, Turtle Lake, Prentice, and Assumption, just to name a few. But we'll go through it all with Mr. Berg, Brandon Berg, for our local sports roundup, brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. So that's coming up a little bit later on. Staying with hoops, Bucks lose again. I mean, what do you do? What do you do at this point? 112 to 105. Bucks dropping to 27-38 on the season. Next up, they take on the Hawks tomorrow afternoon at 2:00. So, and then they got the Pacers right away too on Sunday. So, but we'll throw some hoops chats in there. We're going to talk some baseball now that we are officially less than 2 weeks away from opening day. We got a little bit of an update on Quinn Priester from Pat Murphy yesterday. Is going to start the year on the injured list. And we're going to talk a little bit with Dr. Crow about this in under an hour from now for our Inside the Training Room, brought to you by Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. But Pat Murphy saying his wrist discomfort is related to thoracic outlet syndrome. Reading a little bit about it, and again, we'll get the experts' thoughts on this coming up here in just a little bit, but on Brewers.com, Adam McCulvey notes it's a scary-sounding diagnosis considering that thoracic outlet syndrome occurs when the nerves and the blood vessels in the lower part of the neck are compressed, resulting in pain, weakness, fatigue, numbness, or tingling in the arm or hand. Zach Wheeler required decompression surgery for this last September to remove a blood clot near his right shoulder along with his first rib. So they are hoping that that Quinn Priester won't have surgery. They're hoping that they can avoid that, but they don't really know at this point. So, well, it's kind of, I think on one hand, it might be a little frustrating because they didn't know what it was at first. They thought, okay, overuse a little bit, just kind of shut it down in the offseason. It'll be fine when it begins. Now, hindsight's probably 2020. If he does need surgery eventually, I'm sure they'll be like, well, should have done it in the offseason. Then maybe he would be ready to go here for this season. But we'll kind of see how it plays out and such. But less than 2 weeks away till opening day. Might have an idea of who's going to make this roster. We're going to talk to, again, me and Brandon will kind of make some predictions and such with less than 2 weeks away of what that opening day roster is going to look like. So plenty of Brewers talk coming your way here this morning. NFL free agency-wise, Packers pretty quiet yesterday. But Nate Hobbs already found a team. Just saw this pop up this morning. He is signing, this was from late last night, but I just saw it this morning. He is signing with the San Francisco 49ers. So Hobbs joining the 49ers there. So, but we'll kind of go through the latest and greatest surrounding the NFL free agency wire, and then maybe kind of find some more Packers rumors and such. So that's coming your way. What else we got on the dockets? We'll do some Pump the Brakes Full Throttle, brought to you by AJM Automotive. We got a little cream of the crop also coming your direction. So it's a busy Friday as we start to wrap up this week on a Friday the 13th. Let's get at it, shall we? Pitter patter. Let's get at her. All right. That's your game plan. We'll lead it off talking some Brewers baseball. We'll switch it up here a little. Oh, man. Excuse me. Ooh, choked up. We'll talk some Brewers baseball and some Badger basketball to open up this morning as we get set for their matchup against Illinois today. Latest in bracketology, kind of updates. I mean, Wisconsin, no real big movement, if any at all, after just beating Washington yesterday. So, but we'll mix it up. We'll talk some hoops and we'll talk a little Brewers baseball. So let's take our first break, and then we've got the leadoff. Kim. When it comes to glass, clarity matters, and at Post Glass & Mirror in Chippewa Falls, you will find expert craftsmanship and dependable service for your home, business, or vehicle. From custom shower doors and mirrors to window replacements and auto glass repair, they do it all, and they do it right. Whether you are upgrading your space or fixing a crack before it spreads, Post Glass & Mirror delivers quality that you can see. Local, experienced, and trusted. Post Glass & Mirror in Chippewa Falls, clear solutions built to last. All right, let's get things rocking and rolling this morning on our leadoff. Badger basketball picking up a win yesterday afternoon against Washington, although towards the end there, making it a little maybe too close for comfort and such. But nonetheless, Wisconsin picking up an 85-82 victory, led by Mr. John Blackwell, who scored 34 points, was 6 of 12 from 3. Nick Boyd also helping out, 23 points, 5 of 6 from 3. There was no Nolan Winter in this game. So, and I mean, that was pretty much the score, and those were the only 2 players for the Badgers in double-figure scoring in the game yesterday. So they're going to need some more help outside of Blackwell and Boyd the deeper they get into this tournament against teams like, well, Illinois, and then, we'll see who they play after. Potentially could be Michigan. So, but no word yet on Nolan Winter if he's going to be able to go. It sounds like for sure Greg Gard said he is. I mean, they're really, really confident that Nolan Winter is going to be playing when it comes to the NCAAs. So he's dealing with an ankle injury right now. So, but they're confident he's going to be able to go for the NCAAs. But do you just rest him to make sure he's ready to go for that? Do you try to get him in for this? I think right now it's probably going to be a case where they rest him and just get him set for the NCAAs coming up here. I guess, potentially a week from today or maybe a week from yesterday is when their first big game is going to be. So, but as we look at this Big Ten Conference tournament, we've got some sweet matchups. I think if you just are a college basketball fan and such, you're looking at some of these matchups now with Big Ten Conference. But, I mean, even with some of these other conference tournaments, the deeper we get into this thing, some of the sweet matchups, the awesome matchups, the fun matchups that we're going to be treated towards. So, I mean, Ohio State, Michigan, obviously, Wisconsin, Illinois. Looking at elsewhere, you've got Tennessee versus Vanderbilt. You've got, Purdue versus Nebraska, too. All these Big Ten matchups I think are going to be fun. But then you got Iowa State versus Arizona. That's 2 top 10 teams going at it today. I mean, you've got Kansas versus Houston, for crying out loud. So we've got some really, really fun matchups. If you got to be, you're not doing anything today and you're just hanging out and you just want to watch some hoops, it's kind of a nice prelude to what's going to be happening next week, next Thursday, next Friday, next Saturday, and Sunday. Got some sweet matchups coming up here. So I'm looking forward to just kind of watching some really awesome basketball games today and tonight. So should be a lot of fun here. But, looking at some of the latest bracketology, again, if we look at Joel and Artie's bracketology, nothing changing towards the top here. Duke, Michigan, Florida, Arizona, all as their top seeds. He does have Illinois dropping 1 spot to a 3 seed in his latest bracketology here. So, but other than that, some teams that were kind of maybe following along, or maybe some Big Ten. Yeah, he's got Illinois dropping down. He's got Iowa State moving up to a 2 seed. And Iowa State was a very popular team that was potentially matched up to go up against Wisconsin in the second round of this tournament. So Wisconsin still just hanging around as a 6 seed here in the majority of these predictions and such. And and Joel Lenardi's latest bracketology, again, who does he have Wisconsin going up against? A team that just lost their first game of the season yesterday, Miami of Ohio, in a 6-11 matchup. So, yeah. And if Wisconsin were to win that one, they would potentially face Alabama in a 6-3 matchup to go to the Sweet 16. I kind of, not to overlook Alabama or anything like that, but I kind of like that matchup, to be honest with you. I might, if that were the case, if that's the bracket that comes out on Sunday, I'll tell you what, I might pick Wisconsin to at least probably go to the Sweet 16. Because, again, if we just kind of use Lenardi's bracketology here, they would potentially face UConn then in the Sweet 16, which I don't know if they could get by them. But, hey, Marquette just beat them to end the regular season. So, otherwise, UConn potentially would face Miami in there, too. And Miami's a 7 seed. So, that would be the Midwest region where Michigan is the top seed in this thing, too. Michigan, UConn, man, that's a loaded top two teams there. Oof. Michigan, UConn, then you've got Alabama as the 3, Kansas as the 4, Tennessee as the 5, and then, of course, Wisconsin 6. You got a couple, and Iowa is also in this one, too. So what is that, 3 Big Ten teams in this region? So, but I do wonder if Wisconsin potentially moves up to a 5 if they get the win today. If Illinois already dropped down a spot, and if they lose today, could they drop down to 4? Do they maybe not drop down at all? If you're looking at maybe some of the 5 seeds that might be vulnerable for maybe a Wisconsin to move up to a 5, I mean, possibly St. John's, but St. John's is in action today. Let me bring up the schedule here again for a little college hoops action. Maybe a St. John's team, because they play. Who does St. John's play today? St. John's has Seton Hall. So possibly, I mean, let's say Wisconsin beats Illinois today and St. John's loses to Seton Hall. Maybe there is a little bit of a flip-flop there. Otherwise, you've got Vanderbilt, as we mentioned. They're in action today. They're a 22-ranked team. They're going up against Tennessee. Let's say Tennessee wins. Vandy's a 5 seed. Maybe that's what flips Wisconsin and Vanderbilt around as well. So, yeah, I think there is a scenario if Wisconsin does beat Illinois today, and let's say a Vanderbilt or a St. John's loses their matchups today, then okay, I could see that path coming. Arkansas, they're also a 5 seed in this thing. And Arkansas, who are they going up against here again? They've got Oklahoma. So, okay. The other one, and we mentioned Tennessee's out there too. So, really, okay. If Wisconsin wins, just kind of looking at this, if Wisconsin wins, we're just using Lenardi's bracketology as the basis here. But if Wisconsin wins, you've got Tennessee and Vanderbilt, who are 2 5 seeds right now. One of those teams is going to lose today. I would think then there is that path because Tennessee is in that same region for Wisconsin. You would think that those 2 teams maybe would flip-flop at that point in time. But might be, picking at pins and needles and grasping at straws here a little bit, but just take care of your business today, Wisconsin, then we can figure it out after that, right? So, but tip time again for today's game for Wisconsin. It is scheduled at 1:30, but it's going to be 25 minutes after the conclusion of Ohio State, Michigan. So it's not necessarily going to be right at 1:30. So if you're just paying attention to the Big Ten games today, you got Ohio State, Michigan starting things off at 11, then Wisconsin and Illinois after that. 5:30 will be Purdue versus Nebraska. That should be a fun one, too. Purdue probably looking for, another, I guess, a signature win to add to the resume maybe after falling to Wisconsin to close the regular season here. Then you got UCLA versus Michigan State after that. So, all right, don't forget again, you can pre-register, pre-sign up for our bracket challenge. That's right up on our website, sportstalk1051.com. Just click on that Fan Cave tab and scroll all the way down to the bottom. I'd like to get triple digits. Even if you're not a big college basketball fan, go have some fun with the rest of us, all right? Go pick some games. Have some fun. It's not a science. You don't really... Yeah, you probably need to know a little bit about college basketball. But, I mean, they make it easy with bracket challenges, right? Got the seeds and all that. Heck, a lot of people win these things without even knowing a darn thing about college basketball. So go have some fun with the rest of us. Just because you don't watch college basketball, go and hang out and have a little fun trash talk, and maybe you can beat some of the diehards and such. So, all right. We'll take a quick break, and let's talk some baseball coming up here. We've got Quinn Priester news, and it doesn't sound the greatest, but Pat Murphy also threw a couple. We're trying to figure out. He hasn't named an opening day starter. We'll tell you what he had to say about that. And he threw in a couple of other names as a potential in that starting rotation to begin the year. We'll tell you what he told the media yesterday. Coming up after this quick break. When it comes to quality meat, you don't guess. You go straight to the experts at Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire. You're not just buying meat, but you are buying experience. Hand-cut steaks, fresh ground beef, house-made brats and sausages, thick-cut chops done exactly the way you like them. This is your neighborhood butcher shop where quality comes first and service still matters. Planning a cookout, stocking up for the week, or looking for that perfect steak for dinner tonight, you can stop on into Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire and taste the difference that a real butcher makes. Mike's Star Market, fresh, local, and done right. Let's talk a little Brewers here in our third segment, I guess. Yeah, third segment here. But let's take a look at what Pat Murphy had to say a little bit to the media yesterday. We got an update on Quinn Priester, this nagging wrist injury that actually popped up towards the end of last season, and it's been kind of confusing the ball club and Priester and such of what exactly has been going on. And he met with a specialist down in Texas, and the specialist diagnosed the source of this injury as, according to Pat Murphy, in the thoracic outlet syndrome family. Pat Murphy also first time to confirm that Priester would open the regular season on the injured list. Now, the Brewers are hoping that he will not have to have surgery and to avoid it, because if he does have surgery, I mean, you're talking about potentially out maybe this whole season. So Brewers, they're hoping that his symptoms might not require surgery, Pat Murphy said, and can be addressed with treatment instead. Priester threw lightly off a mound on yesterday afternoon, and a more intense bullpen session is on the schedule for the 21st. So, but Murphy said there is some optimism that the treatment continues to offer relief. Murphy said, and we're going to ask the experts, Dr. Crow, about this coming up here in a little bit. He said, often thoracic outlet surgery requires surgery, but in this case, we're not there. We're feeling like there's a chance that he's going to come through this. So, obviously not the start to the season that we were hoping. We never want injuries to begin a season. Doesn't matter the position group, doesn't matter the pitcher or not. We don't want that, obviously. But it feels like, and I think a lot of us would agree, but it feels like the Brewers are in a much better position to handle injuries to their starting rotation this year, at the beginning of this year, than they were last year. I mean, we know the depth that they have with that group. A lot of youngsters, there's no question about it. And Priester, I mean, with the experience that he gained last year, was invaluable. And with him not in the starting rotation, it is going to make one of those youngsters maybe a little pressure on their shoulders right away, or thrown into the fire a little bit right away. But there's talent there. There's potential there. And those guys are going to be asked to perform maybe a little bit sooner. So, on the other hand, though, too, for Brandon Woodruff, there is some optimism about him being able to go, or being ready at the beginning of the year. Now, it's not a for sure thing about opening day. If he's going to be the opening day starter, that's not out of the question yet. But again, it's the same talking point that the Brewers have been saying. It's not necessarily the main goal, and the Brewers have yet to announce who the opening day starter is. We're less than 2 weeks away, and Pat Murphy yesterday said, quote, "I'll give it to you as soon as I have it. Why hide that?" He says he added some names. I think you got to look at Harrison. I think you got to look at Brandon Sproat as potential options in that starting rotation. So, but Murphy did say, it's not cemented, but he did say they are planning on Brandon Woodruff being available in the first turn of the rotation. Again, not necessarily the opening day starter, but they are planning on him being available in that first turn of the rotation. He's going to be throwing a simulated game today and just kind of continuing to progress that way. So, but I think to hear the comments that Brandon Woodruff is going to be in that first turn of the rotation, I think you got to be happy about that if you're a fan. Would it be cool for him to be the opening day starter given everything that has gone on through his recovery and his treatment? 100%. Absolutely. But if he starts one of those first few games of the season, you take that. You take that in a heartbeat. So it kind of feels like between Chad Patrick or The Miz is going to get that opening day start. And I almost wonder, it's just me, and this could just be me, I almost wonder if they go Patrick and maybe take a little bit off of the shoulders of The Miz, because we know The Miz gets pumped up, gets a little amped up, right? He's still young and such, but do they take away some of that nervous energy away from him and such? I could be overthinking that a little bit, because, I mean, let's face it, though, too. Miz has pitched in some high situation games and high pressure games and highly anticipated games. So, I mean, he does have that experience too. So maybe that's the argument that you go out there and you say Miz gets the opening day start, because, I mean, he has been in that spotlight. He's been there. So maybe that's where you give him the ball. But honestly, at this point, it's a nice ceremonial thing. But as a fan, and 162 games total, do you really care who? I don't mean to downplay or anything like that, but I mean, do you really care who the opening day starter is? Unless you're going to the game. If you're going to the game, you're probably like, dude, I want to see the best pitcher to start off the season. Then, okay, I get that. Obviously, if I'm going to the game, I want to see I'd like to see the Miz pitch or Brandon Woodruff pitch. Right? I think we're all kind of like that, just as a fan thing. But from a long-term standpoint, I just want the win, right? I just want the win. I want the W. Give me the win on opening day. Start the season off on a positive note, and you're still on pace to go 162-0. Brewers will be back on the radio today, though, so you're going to be able to listen in and check them out. 3 o'clock coverage begins today as they take on the Oakland Athletics. First pitch will be around 3:10. So I was checking out some of the writers who cover the Brewers and such, and just trying to find some more opening day roster predictions and such. And a lot of it is the same all across the board. Dominic Cottorino, who we have on every once in a while from Brewers Radio Network, he posted up his on WTMJ. Catchers, Contreras, Gary Sanchez. Infielders, Jake Bowers, David Hamilton, Joey Ortiz, Luis, Bryce Durang, and Andrew Vaughn. Outfielders, Chirio, Frelick, Mitchell, Blake Perkins, Christian Yelich. Starters, 5 predicted opening day rotation. This is where it was a little bit different than Adam McCulvey's. Mizorowski, Chad Patrick, Brandon Woodruff, Kyle Harrison, and he's got Brandon Sproats mixed in there too, whereas Ashby was listed as a starter in McCulvey's that we highlighted yesterday, but he's got Ashby listed as the reliever there. Grant Anderson, Ashby, D.L. Hall, Jared Koenig, Trevor McGill, Abner Uribe, Robin Zerpa. So I honestly feel like I feel like that's probably, if I were to make a prediction, a roster prediction, that's kind of where I'm at too. I'm going to ask Brandon what his thoughts are if that, but I mean, I look at that and I'm like, that just makes all the sense in the world. Maybe you throw an Ashby in there as a starter and then you carry another bullpen arm or a reliever in that, but chances are after opening day or after the opening series, it's going to be changed again. call-ups, call-downs. There's a very good chance that opening day roster could be changed after a day, after one game, or after a couple games. Because there could be an injury, or maybe they want to bring up a fresher. Who knows, right? Who knows? Can't predict some of that stuff. So, staying with baseball, though, too. Don't forget, World Baseball Classic. It's continuing, man. We've got games tonight. Korea versus Dominican Republic, 5:30, and then after that at 7, it's Team USA taking on Canada. And then we've got 2 more games in the quarterfinals coming your way tomorrow. The semifinals, if USA advances, they will play on Sunday night, 7 o'clock, against the winner between Korea and the Dominican Republic. So, and if they win the semifinals on Sunday, they will advance to the finals, which will be played on Tuesday. So, but yeah, that matchup is going to be tonight. So we'll see if if Team USA. Maybe, I know Mark DeRosa and some of the players are kind of calling that loss to Team Italy maybe a nice little wake-up call for them and kind of keeps them a little bit more focused and in tune. It better. You don't get any more chances, and you can't count on Team Italy to save you or another team to kind of save you, keep you alive. So, but 2 more wins, and then you get to the World Baseball Classic final. So, all right, let's take another quick break as we start to wrap up the first quarter already this morning. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Hunting season will be here before you know it, and that preparation starts right now. At Tilden Gun, they know serious hunters don't wait until opening day to get ready. Whether you are gearing up for the upcoming spring turkey season or planning ahead for fall, now is the time to make sure that your equipment is dialed in. From shotguns and rifles to optics, ammunition, and must-have accessories, Tilden Gun has the selection and the expertise to help you step into the woods with confidence. Maybe it's time to upgrade your setup. Maybe it's time to sight in that new optic, or maybe it's just stocking up so that you are not scrambling later. Turkey season demands precision, patience, and preparation. Stop on into Tilden Gun and talk with the people who understand the hunt, because you know what? They live it too. Tilden Gun, get ready now so that you are ready when it matters the most. So those, don't forget, extra turkey tags go on sale next week, depending on your zones and what's available and such. Head on over to that DNR website and check it out. So, NFL free agency stuff yesterday. Kind of just taking a look at within the division. Kyler Murray heading over to the Minnesota Vikings, signing a 1-year deal to join the Minnesota Vikings. I know head coach O'Connell said, it's not naming Kyler Murray as the starter and such. We know he's going to be the starter. We know it. All right, we're not fools. He's going to be the starter, and that to begin the year, at least to begin the year. We'll see how it kind of plays out after that. But a little bit more of a quiet day, I would say, right? A little bit more of a quiet day from the NFL free agency world and such. Obviously, from a Packers side of things, I mean, they made some things official yesterday and such, but other than that, not a whole lot going on. They've got some signings that are kind of going on right now at this point in time, but looking at some of the best available, right, maybe a little surprising that Rasheed Walker hasn't signed yet. I would imagine that the market probably isn't what they expected for Rasheed Walker. I would imagine that, so maybe still trying to hold out and find that deal, but maybe not as big as they originally thought for Rasheed Walker. So I'm still a little surprised that he hasn't signed up with anybody at this point. But if we look at Greg Rosenthal's best available, Rasheed Walker is his best available right now. And he did note, too, he's probably league average as a starting left tackle. And if that's the case, maybe teams aren't willing to overpay for a league average starting left tackle. He's going to get signed, and he's going to be a starter somewhere. But maybe it's just that market hasn't played out like they thought, or like a lot of people kind of thought it was for Rasheed Walker. After that, I mean, you're looking at a Juwan Jennings, a Wyatt Teller, Calais Campbell, Joey Bosa, Kirk Cousins. I think now that Kyler Murray has signed up, the Kirk Cousins market might pop up a little bit more. So DJ Reader and such. But there's still some veterans. Now, I think we're going to get into the phase here, and this is maybe where Green Bay kind of comes more into play if they do decide to make some more moves here, is those 1 and 2 year deals with some of these veterans. You're probably not going to see a whole lot of long-term contracts with some of these guys that are still available out there. But, this might be the opportunity here for Green Bay if they want to continue with some 1-2 year type of deals. This is now the time, heading into this weekend, heading into next week. Those veterans, bringing them in on those short-term deals. So I don't know if Green Bay is quite done yet. Now, a lot I think is going to depend on, do they want to sign guys that potentially could take away from their comp picks for next year? Because we know that they're going to get a lot of comp picks, right? That's going to be a thing. And fairly decent comp picks, too. So if that's in play, they're probably then going to be looking at guys who were cut and then signing those type of players, because those type of players, if they were cut and then became free agents, they don't count towards the comp pick formula. But I don't know. I don't know what Goody's kind of thinking or his mindset is at this point in time. But, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they add a couple more veterans here on those 1-2 year type of deals. Probably more so in the 1 year deal category. But, all right, just got a few minutes left to the top of the hour. So, coming up next hour, we'll get back to some more Brewers talk, but we're going to kick it off catching up with our doc, Dr. Austin Crow, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Definitely going to get his insight on the Quinn Priester wrist injury and situation. So we'll chat about that. We've got Brandon coming up after that. We'll do some local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center with him. Latest and greatest in the high school basketball world. So we'll hit that up. We've got some cream of the crop. We'll get back to some more Brewers talk, baseball talk as well. Hoops, college basketball, Badgers surviving and advancing, picking up the win yesterday against Washington. Now setting up for a game against Illinois. So we'll hit that up coming up here in a little bit. We've got did I say cream of the crop already? I think I said cream of the crop already, but AJM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle too. That'll probably be let's shoot for the 8 o'clock hour for our AJM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle. So if you want to make some picks for cream of the crop, you can do so. Just hit us up with either a message on the Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912, or you can join Section 105 on the YouTube chats and give us your cream of the crop picks. So also just really quick, that is going to shut down this weekend. If you want to nominate a kiddo for our Backyard Dreams presented by Superior Auto Body, nominate a kiddo so we can send them to a Brewers-Dodgers game coming up in May. Got to do it by this weekend, okay? Again, just hit up that website, click on that Fan Cave tab, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you will have to, nominate a kiddo and kind of give us a little bit of like why you are nominating that kid, that youngster. So time is running out. So get to that website and nominate that child. So, yeah, got quite a few nominations already. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to select just one, but it should be cool. I mean, come on, get a chance. Maybe it's the first time. Maybe a kiddo's never been to a Brewers game before. Be not a bad one to go see Ohtani and the Dodgers for their first one. So, all right, wrap it up with Morgs. Good morning, Morgs. I'm doing well. How are you?
Would you say you're a movie guy? Like, I don't want... Okay. Shows or movies? Like,
movies.
Let's talk genres. What sport has the best selection for movies? Because like baseball, you have League of Their Own.
Baseball is probably the best. I'd say boxing's next.
Because of Rocky.
Raging Bull. I mean,
what about golf? Because you got Adam Sandler's kind of quintessential Tin Cup, all that kind of stuff in there too. Yeah.
Yep.
So let's go every sport's best movie. Basketball.
Hoosiers.
Football.
I might be in the minority in this. I think the majority is going to say Remember the Titans, which is a great movie.
Okay, what about Rudy?
That's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
What about The Program?
No. I'm in the minority on that. I am not a fan of I like the movie The Program, but there's something that bothers me about The Program.
Spill it. Certainly not their use of Guns N' Roses, which is iconic.
It, to me, is if you are going to play a position like quarterback in this instance,
okay,
and you look like you don't know how to throw a football, it
so
takes
it's
away.
A casting issue more so than anything else.
And I'm sorry, but he looks like he can't throw a football hardly. So
okay, so you're out on the program.
I like the movie. I grip my teeth when I watch that. So.
Waterboy.
It's a fun movie.
Okay, so then what's the best football movie?
I have a special heart for Varsity Blues.
Okay.
I mean, James Vanderbeek could throw a pigskin.
Sounds like you got a little man crush on Vanderbeek.
No, it's just I think that was in my era.
Yeah, absolutely.
Foo Fighters,
I remember Varsity Blues.
it
felt like every small town in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Louisville, Medford.
Any Given Sunday is also a classic.
That was what I was going to say next. Okay, baseball.
Now, my opinion,
this is all opinion based.
Sandlot.
Oh, I would agree with you. I would have said Sandlot too.
Sandlot or Field of Dreams.
Yeah. All right, Benny, you win. What about hockey?
Miracle.
Are you a Mighty Ducks guy or
Miracle?
Okay.
I like Mighty Ducks. I will say underrated though is Mystery Alaska.
I've never seen it. Okay. Yeah. Golf. There's a lot in golf.
Yeah, I'm Tin Cup.
Okay, so that's your whole. Now, what about any outliers? Any movie that's sports related?
Rocky.
Of course, Fox. I should have known. That was a dumb question. Second to Rocky.
Creed. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, of course. That's dirty. That's in the Rocky family.
What would be another one out there?
Do you tend to enjoy or gravitate towards sports movies just because? Okay.
I will say, we've went to it twice now.